This is Mark Anthony with Mercury Time Price Analytics, and welcome to our end of day video for Monday, July 20th, 2020. You know, did you ever have a time when you were growing up and you saw something just completely bizarre? And you turned to your best friend and said, "It doesn't matter how long we live, we are never going to see something like that again." Well, as a trader of 37 years, mind you, I don't know that we will ever see again what we saw today. We're going to come back to this chart for a minute, but I've got a couple prepared slides that I want to share with you. We're going to start with the S&P 500 advancing versus declining issues. Pretty simple concept. You got 500 stocks in the S&P 500. It's actually 503, but who cares? Most trading platforms will give you the advancing versus declining metrics. And that's something that you want to keep an eye on during the day to give you an indication. For example, if the market's going up and the advanced decline line isn't improving, well, then you may have a little bit of a divergence. But what we saw today was just absolutely nuts. So here you have 9:30 this morning, S&P 500 advancing versus declining issues, negative, minus 290 issues. Never got better than minus 100. The best of the day was minus 109. At the close, it was minus 146 issues. Now, we're going to come back to this in a minute, because I've got a very, very special question to ask you when we're done. So let's start over here. Let's pull up our Thinkorswim. Now, some things happened today that were, how shall I put this? Unnatural. Our weekly pivot, and it's actually, I don't have it on this particular chart, but I do have an image of it for you. Here we go. So every week, prior to the Sunday evening Globex Open, we provide for our subscription members a number of metrics, and one of the most important is our weekly algorithmic pivot, because that's a level that if it doesn't hold, and you see price acceptance below that level, then bad things tend to happen. So here you are, 3 a.m. European session opens. You get a move down below the weekly algo pivot, which happened to be 31.92. When we had the 9:30 Eastern Time US Open, it chopped around for a little bit. And we'll take a look at another chart that will give you a better idea of the merriment that followed. Not that one. There's the one. Okay. So here you have 9 a.m. Here's 10 a.m. And it was right about 9:36 that the E-mini, the S&P E-mini futures, came down to 32.06. Now, there was no way that they were going to let that break. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like about 5 of our algorithmic oscillators sitting right under it. And when you get clusters of these oscillators all in one spot, it takes a whole lot of doing to go through them. So it was in the cards that, at least on this particular move down, it was not going to break through and test the rounding. So here's your daily bull bear pivot at 32.06. Now, the daily bull bear pivot is a metric that I put out every day about an hour and a half before the day session opens. It's based on a proprietary time cycle, time price analysis. About 80% of what we do is based on time, not price. There are immutable time cycles that ES runs off of. And if you know what the cycles are, and you know which ones to look at very specific times of the day, well, you get at a specific minute every morning, and it's more than an hour and a half before the market opens, our algorithm gives us the single daily bull bear pivot, and it is the freakiest metric that you'd ever want to see. So it comes down into the daily bull bear pivot. Then you get your thrust up. Now this purple dashed line is the fast oscillator. This chart, this chart is 12 minutes per bar. And one of the things about algorithms, the institutional algorithms that the hedge funds and the high frequency trading firms and the bank institutional desks, those algorithms don't run on the typical time cycles that the average trader looks at. A lot of traders will use 5-minute bars or 10-minute bars, 3-minute bars, 15 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. None of them are algorithmic time frames. So you don't see with your eyes what the institutional algos see because you're simply not looking at the same thing. So the algo, the institutional algos, were buying every one of these dips precisely at this algorithmic oscillator. Perfect, perfect. Almost to the tick all the way up. Now, I want to show you, and here's the thing to keep in mind through all this. S&P advanced decline line was never better than minus 109 the whole day. And I have never seen, you know, there are days where price just does not want to trade on the other side of this fast oscillator. But I have never seen it trade like this with this level of obedience to that oscillator when you had very poor market breadth all day long. So something fishy was going on today. Now I'll show you another look at this on a longer time cycle. This one's 12 minutes per bar. This one I can't tell you how many minutes per bar because that's part of the secret sauce. But we'll suffice it to say that these bars are more than 25 minutes each. Now, at least on the 12-minute bars, you had some pullbacks to the fast oscillator. On the longer cycle, which is over 25 minutes per bar, after that initial thrust up, it didn't even come within sniffing distance. I mean, it didn't even get anywhere close. So you had open air between this rising wedge that didn't even want to come anywhere close. And that too has never happened on a day where you had such bad market breadth. So somebody was very fond of large cap tech stocks today. Now, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but somebody at the Fed really digs Apple TV. All right, next chart. NQ. Parabolic move in NQ today. Now what you see here, these are what we call our Mercury bands. And the way these are calculated, there's two sets. There's a long cycle and there's a short cycle, which you see in green here. The long cycle is a 10-day look back. The short cycle is a 5-day look back. And the way we do this, it's a proprietary algorithm that takes multiple readings per day at very specific times on very specific time cycles, over 2-hour per bar time cycles. And what it does is it gives us 4 long cycle bands, 4 short cycle bands, and then it also gives us upper extensions and lower extensions. Now these are calculated at 5 o'clock when you get the full market close, not the 4 o'clock close, but 5 o'clock because we need all that data. And then for our subscription members, we publish these before the evening session opens at 6 o'clock. And because these are long cycle algorithms, they apply all throughout Globex, all evening long, all throughout the European session, and the entire next day session. So when we put these out for our members at 6 o'clock in the evening, these apply for the next 23 hours until 5 o'clock the next day. And you get very specific movement. And let me just note this. We never manually draw support or resistance lines, ever. Every line that you see on our charts was derived by a mathematic algorithmic formula. We put the prices and the time coordinates in there, and the algorithm spits out these levels. And I'll be darned if they don't just, they nail support and resistance. You couldn't draw these lines better if you and I were just, you know, if we took out our old dusty copy of Edwards and McGee. By the way, if you're a trader and you've never read the book on technical analysis by Edwards and McGee, you can still find it on Amazon. Probably cost you $50, $100 at least. I don't know what it costs these days. But if you're a trader and you're into technical analysis, those were the guys that started it. They started looking at chart patterns and not only defined the chart patterns, but they said to themselves, okay, what does this chart pattern mean relative to practical trading purposes? What does a symmetrical triangle mean? What does a rising wedge mean? What does a flag formation mean? But if you've never read that book, you'll love it. It's a thick book. It's encyclopedic, and it is just awesome. But the point is, we don't look at chart patterns and say, okay, this looks like a good support resistance line here. This looks like a good one here. This looks like a good one here. These are all mathematical algos, which we then give that data to our subscribers. Now, the move that you had off the that's what I'm looking for. Off the S&P daily algo bull bear pivot, 3206, closed up here at around 52. So about a 46 handle move with that negative breadth. Now, NASDAQ is just bat turd crazy. My wife gets really angry at me if I say a naughty word. I rarely curse anyway, but if I said something other than bat turd crazy, I mean, you can fill in the word. I would be in all sorts of trouble. Let's see, what chart is it? And if I sound a little punchy, it is 11 o'clock. I've done nothing but look at these charts since the market closed at 4 o'clock. Let's see, bear with me just a minute, we'll find it. Is that our NASDAQ chart? Yeah, here it is. So the NASDAQ daily bull bear pivot. And again, this was put out almost 90 minutes before the market opened. 10,605. Now, getting back to a little crack in my voice, I'm 57 and just reaching the backside of going through puberty, so you got to bear with me. So 10,605 daily bull bear pivot on NQ. Now remember the chart we showed you with the market breadth. Where is it? Over here. So right about the time that S&P futures are minus 290 is about the time that NQ was sitting on that daily algo bull bear pivot at 10,605. And then at the end of the day, when the S&P advanced decline line is minus 146, you look at that NQ chart that went parabolic, and lo and behold, it was up 360 handles off that daily bull bear pivot right here at 10,605. Now, you may have been trading longer than I have, but if anybody has seen this kind of activity before, send me an email, Mark Anthony at mercurysignals.com. Mark Anthony, Mark with a K. Mark Anthony at mercurysignals.com. Never seen anything like this today. Now, I want to show you something that we normally don't share outside of our member Slack channel. We've got a member Slack channel where we post the charts and levels, and we also have a live chart that we run on Zoom. So on the live chart, for example, you're going to see something like this. This is just one version of it where you get all these algorithmic metrics. All you do is you get yourself a free Zoom account, and all you need is an email address to do that. And you've got, and this is just one of the live charts. We've got two different charts, so you get twice as much of what you see here with the two different charts, but you can see the market moving in real time all day long. What I wanted to point out, and I mentioned I wanted to share something with you that we don't normally share. Quite frequently, I'll post the charts with these Mercury bands at the end of the day. And what you're seeing on that chart is the Mercury bands that we provided for our customers the night before for the 6 o'clock Globex Open. But after what we had happen today, I wanted to give you just a little sneak peek. And you can, as you're watching this, you can pause the playback, and it shows you the Mercury band levels for tomorrow. Lower extension number 2, 10,213. Lower extension number 1, 10,340. Long cycle lower, 10,468. Long cycle mid number 2, 10,532. Of course, this bull bear pivot will change tomorrow morning. Short cycle 10,618. Got another short cycle, one at 10,639. You got a long cycle, a couple of these bunched up together, 10,658. Then your long cycle upper, and again, remember, long cycle is a 10-day look back. Short cycle is a 5-day look back. You got this level at 10,722. And then you got a couple upper extensions up here, 10,850, 10,927. So take a screenshot of the YouTube video you're watching right now. Check and see how relevant these are tomorrow. And shoot me an email. Let me know what you think. But the other reason I wanted to show this to you is that there's a different type of algo pivot that I put on here also. It's what I call XSV3, which means it's over a 3-hour cycle. And that level is at 10,983.25. And NQ actually is trading, it's trading right there, just a couple handles above this level. So it's going to be real important to see if it holds it, because if it can sustain price above that level, it can certainly take another run up here at 11,058 that it put in Monday of last week. But the trading was very unnatural, conspiracy theory. Look, I'll leave that up to you. I've heard conjecture that the Fed was actively buying large cap tech stocks today. I don't want to get into any of that. I mean, and one reason why I could care less about that is this. When you're trading, the only thing that matters is price. The reasons, the whys, the wherefores, it doesn't matter. It cracks me up at the end of the day when you watch the financial news channels. They always want to ascribe a particular reason for why the market did what it did that day. Who cares? It doesn't matter. So I'm not going to sit here and say that the Fed was in there buying stocks today. But I did promise you that we would close by taking a look at that advanced decline line again, because I've got a very important question to ask you. I posted this on my Twitter account, It's MC 2085. 20 was my football number, and 85 was when I moved to the great state of Florida. MC 2085, or just search for Mark Anthony or Mercury Time Price Analytics, you'll find it. But I posted this on Twitter earlier this evening, and the caption was Equity Trading Rorschach Test. You know what a Rorschach test is? So those ink blots, and you're supposed to gaze intently at that ink blot, and then you tell the shrink what it is that you see, and then they psychoanalyze you based on that. So I want you to just take a second, and I want you to gaze very intently at this chart. Here's your open at 9:30. Here, going into 10 o'clock, advancing versus declining issues, minus 290. You close the day with advancing issues, minus 146. Okay, I'm gonna count to 3. I want you to look at that intently, and then I've got a question to ask you. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here's the question. If you looked at that equity trading Rorschach test, and you saw a move in the SPX off this low of 48 handles, and you saw a move off this low in NQ of 360 handles, well then congratulations. You are now qualified to be a central banker. And here it pays well. You don't have to have any business experience, from what I understand, but you just got to read a lot of books on theoretical economics, and then know how to hit the button to print the money. That's important too. Wonder if blisters are a problem. Who knows? All kidding aside, if you've never been to our website, it's mercurysignals.com. And I do want to share something serious with you as we close. We started this morning, actually yesterday, expanding the algorithmic metrics. We've got a ton of metrics for the S&P futures, the E-mini, and also for NQ futures. But I wanted to expand the technical tools that we offer to include not just NQ, which we already do, but SPY, QQQ, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Netflix, Google, Intel, NVDA, some of the big tech stocks. I know we got a lot of options players out there. And that single daily bull bear pivot that we put out, if you're going to day trade options, that is the single most valuable thing for you to know, because it shows you if you get price acceptance above that daily bull bear pivot, chances are those calls, unless you really overpay for them, chances are those calls are going to be worth more at the end of the day. But that is a crucially important metric if you're an options trader. Our website is mercurysignals.com, and I've got it all queued up here because I want to show you something interesting. And by the way, we're running a summer special. All our algorithmic tools for S&P 500 and NQ futures included for one low rate, and we bill you bi-weekly, every 2 weeks rather than monthly. The reason we do that is because I know everybody has paid for some type of service and wished they hadn't, or maybe it wasn't the right thing for them, and then you're stuck paying a month for something that you found out wasn't for you. So that's why we bill every 2 weeks. We just feel like that's the right way to run a business. Now, even though we don't make you pay a month at a time, and even though there are no contracts, and even though there is no software to buy or download, it's just a free live webinar, we still give you a lifetime rate lock. So there are no contracts. You can cancel anytime you want, but we guarantee your rate will never be increased no matter what rates go to in the future, and they will be going up soon. In addition to the S&P and the NQ, we started this yesterday. Now included with the membership, you get some very important algorithmic metrics for SPY, QQQ, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Netflix, Intel, and NVDA. And we'll be adding more as well. But I want to show you something, and that is just how valuable and accurate our proprietary algorithms are. Because right here on our homepage, you have time-stamped evidence. Published this morning at 8:17 a.m., and today is July 20th, 2020, published on our member Slack channel over an hour before the day session opened. We published for our members the daily Algo bull bear pivots. And you saw them on the charts, but this was published well before the market opened. S&P futures 3206, you had a 48-point move into the close. NQ futures 10,605, you had a 360-point move into the day close. And here's the complete list we published. And because we believe that it's important to show evidence, this is right from our Slack channel, time-stamped, 7:55 this morning. I posted the daily bull bear pivot for ES, and it takes me some time to calculate the rest of them. But a few minutes later at 8:17, this is exactly what was published today by me on Slack, 8:17 a.m., over an hour before the market opened. So, like I said, if you're, whether you like to trade the E-mini or you like to trade NQ, or you like to trade options in SPY or QQQ or any of the big cap tech stocks, there is literally no commercially available trading system or system tools that do what our systems do. It just does not exist. And I would venture to say that even the biggest institutions in the world don't have anything near as accurate as what we have. And we've been approached on more than one occasion about licensing some of our products to institutions, and even we're offered to outright sell portions of it. Well, my friends, that's not going to happen, because I built this for the little guy, and I mean you and me. You know, we're all the little guys or the little ladies compared to the big institutions. So this is to level the playing field for us. So if you haven't been to our website, please check it out. Click on the button here, and that'll show you the current subscription rates. The last thing I wanted to share with you is this, and I try and close all my videos the same way. You know, things are tough for everybody, almost everybody. If you have kids, it's even tougher. They don't know whether they're going back to school. You don't know if you're going to have to homeschool them. You don't know how or if that's going to be disruptive to your work schedule. But it's not good for the kids. And I don't need to tell you this, it's causing rampant depression, spike in suicides. The entire state of California has, I believe, 9 million school-age students. There's not been one single death, but yet they are going to make these kids feel like they're preparing for World War III every day in school. So there's a lot of stuff going on that has a lot of people stressed. And what I want to share with you is this. If you don't have a relationship with God, and I'm 57 years old, I cannot imagine a better time to invite God into your life and into your heart than right now. The My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell, he wrote a book recently, and he said he's had 14 near-death experiences. He said, you know, he used to live a really wild, reckless life. Well, my friends, I did too. Now, I can't tell you that I had 14 near-death experiences, but I was really darn close. And I came very close to dying February of 2019. And I remember laying there in bed and just said, Lord, I don't know if you're ready to call me home tomorrow. If you are, then I'm okay with that. But if that's not the case, then I'm going to change a lot of things. And so I'm just here to tell you that your life will never have more meaning. You will never feel more joy. You will never feel more love, contentment, peace of mind than you will have when you have a deep relationship with Jesus Christ. Ask him into your heart. Confess to him your sins and acknowledge that the only way to receive salvation is through accepting Jesus Christ into your heart. Invite him into your heart, and at that moment, you have changed your life. But more than that, you've changed the lives of your family, your children, your children's children. And my friends, what I just shared with you the last 5 minutes is a whole lot more important than anything on a stock chart or on a trading platform. So with that, we're going to wrap tonight's video. If you are trading these crazy markets, please be very careful. Watch your trade size, use smaller trade size. Be mindful of your personal risk profile, which you feel comfortable with. Never use more than a small portion of your trading account on any one trade, because you have to remember that trading account, that's your inventory. If you owned a retail store, you would never risk your entire inventory on one toss of the dice. You'd have to recapitalize your store. Well, as a trader, you can't do that either. And these markets, we're seeing things that we've never seen before. So risk management is number one. Keep your position sizes smaller than normal. As soon as you've got 3 handles profit in that trade, assuming you're trading more than one contract, take a little profit, adjust your stop to even, or at worst, give it 1 extra handle on the other side of your stop, so you're not giving back profit. And if you feel like you could use some cutting edge tools, I promise you we have things available for you that you cannot possibly imagine. And so in closing, I want to thank you so much for this video. We're running over 30 minutes now. It wasn't my intention to go that long. But I thank you so much. And I wish you the best. And with all sincerity, I just want to say God bless you, God bless your family, and we hope to see you again soon.